Hello, my friends. Today we are talking about the most powerful, the most useful, and the most efficient tool in the DM's tool belt, the Session Zero. But before we do, I wanted to announce that my Patreon is officially live, and we're gearing up to launch our first edition of the One Door Dungeons zine. It's 35 pages of tools and tables and so much more to make DMing easier. Each month, the zine centers on a specific theme. This month is the beach episode, pirates, buried treasure, and fun in the sun. Included are some missing player tables, NPCs, and a random island generator. Check the links below the video for more information. So what is the most powerful tool in your tool belt? Is it a massive horde of minis? No. Is it maps on maps on maps? No! No, it's the Session Zero. And the Session Zero is simply a session before the campaign starts where everyone involved can talk about the campaign before it's actually run. This allows every single person in the campaign, in the party, and includes the DM, to get on the same page. The Session Zero provides so many benefits, but I'm gonna go over my three favorite ones. Expectations. Expectations is where we set the table rules, the setting notes, and, well, the expectations around the campaign. Each table has their own home rules, their own table rules that they want to implement. And the Session Zero is where you're gonna go over these things. For example, one of the home rules that I utilize is about traps. Traps in D&D have always felt really wonky to me and didn't really hit the spot. So I implemented a oh snap moment for the players, where they might accidentally trigger a pressure plate or trip on the wire, triggering a trap within the room. And as the DM, I give a narrative, oh snap, or click, signaling that the trap has been activated. And then I give the players that are involved with the trap a bonus action or a free action to try and avoid the trap. It gives the players a narrative moment to try and, well, save themselves a few hit points.
Man is humble. Kneels before God.
Expectations is also where I will explain the setting. Are we using milestone leveling up or XP-based leveling up? And what players the levels can expect to hit by the end of the campaign. This also allows the players to kind of air out some of their expectations, how they feel the campaign should flow, how often they want to have downtime, and things of that nature. Goals. Goals, goals, goals. Player goals, DM goals, leveling goals, campaign goals, backstory goals. There should be a goal for everything. There are so many goals on each side of the table as a player and as a DM, and the Session Zero is where you get to cross-reference the notes as to what your goals for the campaign are. As a DM, one of my goals might be, well, to finish the dang campaign. And as a player, one of my goals might be to become an arcane master and figure out some hidden away ancient art that nobody else knows. I want to be a powerful archmage. I want to find a lost civilization. I want to reclaim the village that was stolen from my family. Also, goals are a great way to keep the players glued to the story. And one of the things that I have recently picked up as a DM, and I will incorporate in every single campaign that I use going forward, is Matt Colville's goal cards. And this is a simple tool as a DM where you provide a goal to the player, and if they complete said goal, they get a reward. This could be a magic item. This could be a stat boost. This could be an intangible kind of reward or boon that they get that they can cash in later. So if I give the player the goal of reclaiming their hometown and the player accomplishes that, then the player's reward is the family sword caliber, which will only appear to a true heir of the family. Safety tools. Now, this is where it starts getting a little interesting for me. Over on TikTok, I'm finding out that a lot of DMs don't provide any safety tools whatsoever to their party, and that a lot of players of D&D and other TTRPGs aren't even aware that safety tools exist. And quite frankly, that's kind of sad. And I do put a little bit of the blame on Wizards of the Coast for not putting any kind of safety tools within their printed media. But as we are learning over the longevity of 5e, Wizards of the Coast has a lot of learning and unlearning to do, and we may see some safety tools appear in the future. And now, simply put, safety tools are just tools that make everybody at the table feel safe and comfortable. And now I can hear all the old hats, the OSR and second edition players rolling their eyes and just saying, take a little bit of that trauma on the chin. But like, it's 2022 and we've come so far as a community, and quite frankly, I won't play at tables that don't include safety tools. And now I understand there are a ton of safety tools that exist out there, and you as a DM and as a player should find ones that you are comfortable with introducing and seek them out. But these are the three that, at a bare minimum, I provide to my players. The consent checklist, or the consent form. This form allows the players to express their comfort with potentially triggering themes or actions that may arise in the campaign without the social pressure of being at the table. I will include a link to the form that I use, and I believe it's a kind of a universal form, in the description below for you to check out and implement in your games. Lines and veils. And now this one is one of my favorites. It does a lot with a little. A veil is something that could be alluded to within the campaign, but not directly actionable or interfaceable. So things like sex. Sex can happen. The bard can go do what he wants with the barmaid, but we as a party don't need to see or be a part of that. And a line? Well, it's a line in the sand that will not be crossed. It is a topic or subject that will not be broached in the campaign whatsoever. Things like harm to children, harm to animals, and SA.
I'm talking about drawing a line in the sand, dude. Across this line, you do not.
And then there's the X card, and this could be a small card or a totem that the player can hold up at any point in time during the campaign to note that they are uncomfortable with what is happening or what could potentially happen in this scenario. They don't need to reference what is making them uncomfortable or why it is making them uncomfortable. We just honor the fact that they are being uncomfortable and will crash to black and move the scene forward. The player simply just needs to hold it up, tap it, or slide it to the middle of the table to indicate that they are not okay with what is going on. As I mentioned before, these are but a fraction upon a fraction of the safety tools that exist. I might do a follow-up video in the future about other safety tools that I have seen or experienced myself. Things like aftercare or a debrief are great because D&D can get very intimate and very personal and very heavy very quickly. And so we want to take care of ourselves. We want to take care of ourselves as a DM and as a party. And we want to make sure that everybody is okay and comfortable with play so the campaign can continue on until its finale. We want to get there. We all want to get there, and we want it to be a great, pleasurable experience and not a traumatic one. And as you can see, we get a ton of information out of the session 0, and we supply the players with a ton of information at the session 0, and that's what makes it such a powerful and potent tool. And no, it is something you can go back to routinely. It doesn't have to just exclusively exist at the beginning of the campaign. You can go back and do a session 0 as often as you want. I generally do them at the start of an arc. Once we complete a arc or a plot arc or a character arc, we will do a check-in, a session 0 check-in, because the goals and expectations around the game change. The goals and expectations from player to player change over time, and I want to honor that, so I try to do as many session 0s as necessary for the party to feel comfortable. If you're getting ready to dive into a campaign, whether you are a DM or a player, I highly suggest you request a session 0 and explore some of the options that have been provided in this video and across the internet to enhance your experience of play. If you found this helpful at all, be sure to give the video a like, and maybe even consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell to be notified when the next video goes live. And as always, friends, happy adventuring.